Winds in the east, spring is coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen, all happened before. The father, the mother, the daughter, the son, the threads of their lives are all raveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Ching chimney, ching ching, chiree ching chiroo.
The bees have run away from me for the last time.
And who gets stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me, that's who.
I've said my say, Mrs. Brill. I have done with this house forever.
Well, good riddance then. And mind you don't stumble on your way out.
Where is she going? What on earth am I going to say to Mr. Banks?
What is all this commotion?
Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain. Must I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane? Coat! Winifred, you've engaged 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane. Briefcase, umbrella.
Place an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
Father, we've written our own advertisement.
What on earth?
Please, George. I think we should hear it.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts.
That's the part I put in.
Games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and very pretty. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Sing songs, bring sweets.
We won't hide your spectacles if you can't see.
Put toads in your bed, or pepper in your tea.
Hurry, nanny, many thanks.
Sincerely,
Jane
and Michael Banks.
Good morning.
Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any
Now let's see. Play games, all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats. Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope.
Oh, none at all. But take it up with Miss Banks. She manages all that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. And don't forget the references.
I make it a rule never to give references. I'll see the children now, thank you. Jane, don't stare, and close your mouth, Michael. We are not a codfish. Best foot forward, spit spot.
How did you know what we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list. I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
How did you come there? It's as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now stand over there. Just as I thought. A noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that
Now
up
you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
Let me see. What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say, each virtue knows no bound. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Now perhaps you have a few questions.
Not temperamental,
Never.
not grouchy nor gruff.
The very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss?
Mm-hmm.
Or have objections to playing with us?
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
I
Like games, but I choose them.
That's not fair.
I never said I was fair. I said I was practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect.
Practically perfect. We will be practically perfect in every way.
There we go. Hold it. Hold it. Stay right where you are. I know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins!
It's nice to see you, Bert.
I must say you do look swell.
Have you met these two, Bert?
I seen them running about chasing the kite now that you mentioned it, too.
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called a walk in the park.
You do. Because, hold on, sit down on that bench there. When you take a walk with Mary Poppins, you can visit places you never dreamed of. You see, all that it takes is a spark. And something, as plain as a park, becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light when the day is grey and ordinary. Mary makes the sun shine bright. Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dove. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
Boring, just like Evan and he's thinking. Parks are good for us. It's just statues, ducks, and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss. Is she doing it to spite us? Perhaps it's all a plot, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park. What was that?
You're quite wrong, When you take a walk with Mary, anything can happen.
Who are you?
I'm Nelius, and I've waited half a century to take a walk on a sunny day like this. Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see a statue take a gentle jog.
Take her on, boys.
Jane, did that really happen?
Yes. But how?
Mary Poppins, of course.
But how did you make it happen?
Anything can happen if you let it.
Mary Poppins, how long will you stay for?
We'll see.
You won't leave us, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the wind changes. Now run along in.
Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you're giving me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Daddy, we had a fantastic day. We sang with the busker and danced with the statue. You wouldn't have approved, but...
If you know that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite, like a proper one?
Could you fly it?
You could always teach me.
When would I have time to do that? Now will you please let me get on? Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites.
I used to love flying kites at his age, but my nanny, Miss Andrews, soon frightened it out of me.
Is it out of the question to do without a nanny?
Don't be absurd. All the best people have nannies, so the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how's your tea party coming on?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people I hardly know.
But there are people you should know. Remember, by your friends shall ye be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends.
Winifred, dearest, I'm only thinking of you. Are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well, but just make sure she's doing things our way and not hers.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me, I was told when I was small to learn a trade, said I learned them all. Chim chimney, chim chim chiree.
Mrs. Brill, what about the cake?
It's just out of the oven and too hot to be iced or touched for that matter.
Are you quite sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I have not been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
I'll just go up and check the drawing room.
I'd like to be helpful.
I'd like to be rich, but Destiny thought otherwise.
Mother wants you in the drawing room. She says Roberts and I can tell you what to do.
Does she indeed?
Yes, Mrs. Brill. I don't mind, honest.
All right, I will give you one task, and one task only. Put the icing tools next to the cake. Do you think you can manage that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. A slave in ancient Rome was a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house.
Michael, why don't we make the icing?
Because we don't know how?
Don't be so feeble. Go get the eggs and the flour.
Are there eggs in icing?
There are in mine. Roberts and I, bring me the cake.
Whoa!
Brill, go up and get ready now.
What have you done? Roberts and I. Oh dear, I should call the doctor.
I don't think that will be necessary, ma'am.
Children, you know how important my party is. You deserve some very nasty medicine. Just you wait till bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait till then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up, won't we?
But we're not ill. I won't take it, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open.
But it's strawberry ice.
Now you.
I don't think I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane.
I told you she was tricky.
Must we? Can't Roberts and I do it when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you'll get through lots of staff before you're very old.
today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree? If he did, you must have put the idea in his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. Me, putting ideas into other people's heads. Really.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. Banks, a word. I see Von Hustler is coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good, good. Be sure it's the right one. Banks, what objections could you have? My securities are more than adequate in Latin America is an expanding market. Have you no courage?
But Mr. Von Hustler, what I haven't been able to grasp is what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Yes, money. But I wonder, making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker?
Have you come to a decision, Mr. Banks? There's a ton of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. The factory could be running in weeks and expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'd give it everything I've got.
I believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way, but how can I be sure the money would be safe?
What about my workforce? They'll make it safe.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook, but
Hi, Danny.
What on earth are you guys doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No, we're done. And no man should be too busy for his own children. Well, what are you here for, young man? Have you come for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need the money for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its value.
Another value of this, 6 pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good, and may you have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
When I was a little boy, I would never have dared to interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was, and my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me on my father's business.
What about your mother?
I shouldn't think I saw either of them more than once a week.
And kiss you goodnight, Miss Andrew.
Certainly not. There's no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense.
Poor Daddy.
When you invest the bank's money, what are you looking for, Daddy? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose I should say it's a good idea, but a good man is much rarer and much more valuable. Mr. Von Hustler, I've considered your arguments, but I'm afraid my answer is no.
So you don't recognize a good idea?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You will regret this, Banks.
Now, Mr. Northbrook, when exactly could the new factory open?
Thank you, sir. You won't regret this.
Hello, Bert.
Hello.
We're off to Mrs. Corey's talking shop. Care to join us?
Talking shop.
Who's Mr. Corey?
Who's Mr. Corey? Mr. Corey is older than anyone in the world. He talked to William before he went hungry, before he went impaling, and to Alexander before he went so great.
That's impossible.
Anything can happen if you let it.
Well, well, if it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
He knows us.
And how is poor little Georgie?
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret. I remember George used to love my gingerbread stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
Conversations, and I'm right out of words too. Oh, I do have some letters.
Now, what words can we make?
Lex.
Petophorus?
Those don't count. You made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we can always use the same letter more than once. Now, let me see. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's not a word. Of course it's a word. And unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it's a rather useful one.
When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation clean, and you can find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
But it doesn't mean anything.
It can mean exactly what you want it to.
When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they'd heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
If you say it softly, then the effect can be obnoxious. Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
You know, you can say it backwards, which is so codalized as a creepus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well, and put them in order, which is very hard to spell.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D O-C-I-U-E-S.
Smarty pants.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D O-C-I-O-U-S. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilistic. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything's all wrong. After I refused to loan the banks money to some German chap, he went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money and now looks set to be a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
That's exactly what they expect.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the
That is
sun
more than loud enough! Go to your room! Mary Poppins, you're here to teach little manners. And just look at them!
George, you're tired. Mary Poppins, perhaps you can keep the children occupied in the nursery tonight.
That's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we get shut up in the nursery. That is not fair. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him.
Jane, take that back this instant. I will not have you criticize your father. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George, if you have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Don't worry. You will. I've been suspended without salary until they decide what to do with me.
Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces had better change quick, 'cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimney chim chim cherry chim cheroo.
Why does Daddy get so cross?
Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe, but have you asked yourself who looks after the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose?
Not the children?
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down. For a while, anyways.
I don't want to be an upside down family. I wish I could just run away.
Why don't you?
You'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't.
That's all. Into bed at once.
Mary Poppins, I wish you would just leave us alone.
Be careful of the things you wish for.
Don't you ever stop.
You should govern your temper, or your temper will govern you.
I am sick and tired of your stupid sayings and your stupid games.
Just get into bed.
Well, I won't go to sleep, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things,
your information
is faulty. Joining the sweeps tonight, are we?
Oh, you going in?
The wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary. Come on.
Would I be bothering them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me.
So?
So they've got to do this next bit on their own. Cheerio, Bert. Keep an eye on them for me.
Mary Poppins, wait. Ah, blimey.
Where's Mary Poppins?
Gone.
Gone?
Miss Brill, what does au revoir mean?
Why?
Because that's what it says in this written note. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing games. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
It's French. It means, till we meet again. Now come inside before you catch your death.
Where the smoke is all billowed and curled, between pavement and stars is a chimney sweep's world, where there's hardly no day, nor hardly no night. There's things off in shadow and halfway in light, on the rooftops of London. Cool! What a sight!
Look at the dust. There and there. Filth.
Now, just a minute.
Ah, you must be the children. Pity, I don't suppose you know who I am.
Yes, we do. You're the Holy Terror.
Imprudent boy. Why aren't you wearing your stockings?
I don't like them.
Tut, what manners. I can see there's not a minute to lose.
Does it taste as bad as it smells?
Worse, open. Your son will go to boarding school at once. As for the girl, I shall take charge of her myself. Show me to my room.
What are we going to do?
The only thing we can do. Run away.
What's the matter? Who's after you?
The nastiest nanny in the world.
Is she really as bad as all that?
He looks like something that would eat its own young.
Mr. Andrews was Daddy's nanny.
Which explains a lot.
Poor Daddy. Ever since he stopped working, he just sits and mopes. Mary Poppins used to say he needed our help, but now it's too late.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I'll tell you what. Why don't we start things off with a bit of shake for good luck?
Why would we shaking hands bring us good luck?
Didn't anyone ever tell you it's like you to shake a chimney sweep's hand?
Michael, look, it's a real one. What's the matter? You've always wanted to fly a proper kite.
I've always wanted to fly one with Daddy.
Of course you have. But you need to know how it's done. You get some training in and you'll make an apprentice pilot in the whole bloomin' empire. Reel it in.
It's stuck.
I'll help.
You can do it, but one more time.
Oh, Mary Poppins, I knew you'd come back.
Don't squeeze. I'm not a sardine in a tin. And where are your coats?
We didn't have time to put them on.
Because we ran away.
Have you indeed?
It's been so awful since you went away, and now Miss Andrews can't come, and Daddy's ruined, and we never helped him like you wanted us to. And
oh my eye! But your life's a tragedy. Now let's go home and don't dawdle.
But she's there. She came this morning as a surprise for Daddy.
Did she? Well, maybe I'll be a surprise for her. Hello, Bert.
Welcome, Mary. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You really are. Welcome back, Mary Poppins.
Come along, children.
Aren't you going to shake hands with Bert for luck?
I don't need any luck, thank you.
You stay there and clean the grate again. So you've decided to come crawling back, have you? Who are you?
I'm Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins, but you left without notice.
And I've come back without notice.
I see, and what do you expect me to do?
Pack.
Pack? You insolent young person. How dare you speak to me this way?
Given her a taste of her own medicine.
Mary Poppins, wherever did you come from?
She came from
Michael!
Michael? Jane? You were very naughty to go running off like that. And I should be as angry as anything. If I weren't so pleased to see you.
We found this widow wandering in the park. Good night, ma'am.
George, Mary Poppins is back.
Well, well, I wonder if I might have a word. Things have not gone well for us since you left us, and...
About my wages, sir, if you don't mind, I won't take any just now. I should prefer to let them accrue.
But if you only knew how many payments are accruing as it is.
Now I must get started. Jane, Michael, spit spot.
Come on, darling. After so many years of good service, You made one wrong decision. What's the worst that can happen?
Hello there.
Bert, what are you doing here?
And where else would you sweet be?
The world is awfully big, isn't it?
And what does that tell you?
That we are awfully small and unimportant?
Oh, speak for yourself.
Not us, but our troubles. They seem so big down in the nursery, but up here...
That's more like it. Troubles are never so bad when you look at them from a little higher up.
But when we need a helping hand, we try to step in, try to step in just in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Over the rooftop, step in time. Kicking is a step in time. Kicking is a step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kicking is a step in time. Oh, step in time. Step in time. Step. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kicking is a step.
And always remember, there's plenty of folk ready to help you should you need them. Back to nursery.
Back
Back
to
to the nursery. How did you lock it? What's inside of it?
Portrait.
Whose?
You'll know who when the time comes, and not before.
You are going to stay this time, aren't you?
I'll stay until the chain breaks.
What chain? Where?
Banks, you turned down a scheme that was bound to make millions, and we want to know why.
Then I'll tell you. I refused Mr. Von Hustle because his scheme was hollow. He told me about assets and profits and growth, but there wasn't a word about people. I'm sorry, I apologize for ruining the bank, but I do not apologize for understanding that there are more important things in life than money.
Oh dear chap, Von Hustler's scheme as ruined our rival in the nastiest scandal since records began. We don't want your apologies. We're offering ours.
Oh my word.
Another thing, do you remember giving a loan to a fellow called Northbrook? Well, he's repaying it and opening 2 new factories with the percentage you negotiated. We look set to make a fortune.
Oh my word.
Well, that's just it. We very much hope you might tell us how you did it. Just give us the word. It will be quite safe with us.
Give you a word. Give you a word. Oh, I'll give you a word, all right. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Forgive him. It's not his fault. It's all because of his nanny, Miss Andrew.
We'd like to offer you the job of a senior manager with a salary at double.
Exactly how much has he made for you?
Triple. Quadruple. Your present rate.
Close your mouth, George. We are not a codfish.
Well,
I accept. But you must understand one thing. My family comes first.
agreed.
I love you, Mary Poppins.
You are a fine boy, Michael Banks, and one day you will be a fine man.
Mary Poppins, it makes me so anxious when you talk like that.
Like what?
All gentle and kind. It's not a bit like you. Be cross, Mary Poppins. Be cross.
Is that the thanks I get for the trouble I've taken?
That's much better.
Now, to bed with the both of you. Go along, spit spot.
It's tonight, isn't it?
Yes, Bert.
Well, goodbye then, Mary.
Goodbye, Bert. Look after yourself. There, practically perfect, and I hope it remains so.
Look, it's Mary Poppins' locket. Oh, the chain's broken.
Don't you remember? I'll stay until the chain breaks. What's inside?
It's a picture of the three of us. She signed it. From Mary Poppins with a good deal of love.
Where's Mary Poppins?
He's gone.
Gone? How peculiar.
Oh, she'll be back. Now, what do you think of this?
It's the best thing I've ever seen.
Could we fly it together?
Oh, Daddy.
Mary Poppins won't be coming back. She's gone forever.
Why, dear, how could you possibly know such a thing?
Because we don't need her anymore. And other families will, won't they, Daddy?
They will.
I wonder if she's right, George, and we really could do without a nanny from now on? What do you think?
I think you'd better dance with me.
George, this is serious.
We won't forget you, Mary Poppins.
We will never forget.
Thanks for coming to the show.
All right, everyone, possible on 3. 1, 2, 3, possible!
Alright, there we go.
gonna call the police and be like, so
They can basically see a part of my house.
Okay, so now
right
and followers.
oh my god.
Six, we got
I
it.
feel like a god. I turned to the page first try.
Good morning.
The Holy Terror!
Should I come in this way or this way?
You have pink and green in your eyes.
Do the sloth.
No.
Do the sloth.
No, because
Rosenberg, you slacker!
oh my gosh, I wanted to adopt a beluga whale and name it.
Ah! Ah!
Bye, have a good one.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Yay! Okay, we got it.